generation up to our own time who worked and struggled in the cause of Irish freedom. We are here to reenact and remember the day exactly 100 years ago when Gerry O'Donnovan Rossa was laid to rest in this grave. We have followed with dignity and pride the footsteps of the Republicans of 1915 in the cortege through the streets of Dublin. And now we will have our graveside ceremony. Can I ask that everybody switches off their mobile phones? To begin, we have a new song written by one of our greatest songwriters who joins us here today, Pete St. John. And this is written especially for the centenary of the Easter Rising. So to sing the Spirit of the Gael, Currigi Fáilte Riv Red Hurley.
Spirit of the Gael, eternal loves, the shamrock soul, and the dream that will not fail. This land I love, this land is mine, by ancient royal decree. My place on earth, my island home, in distant lands and foreign times, our
Today is a reenactment, and it's also a rededication to the cause of Irish republicanism as represented by O'Donnovan Rossa and the men and women who stood here 100 years ago. So, in that spirit of the Gael, and to place today in context, can you please Curraghy Fáilte Ribh Uachtarán Hin Féin Gerry Adams.
Mille buíos agus gur míle mágah go leor agus tús bháilm buíos a gáil le arham duine a glad part san arcáid speisialta seo inniu duine a tháinig ó gach cod den tír agus duine a tháinig an seo ó thar lear. I want to thank everyone who has taken part in this very special event. I want to thank our organisers and our reenactors, especially Bartle and Mick and God, who organised the weather. So who was Jeremiah O'Donnovan Rossa? He was from a family of tenant farmers from Rosscarbery, County Cork. In 1856, not long after in Gortamore, he established the Phoenix National Literary Society, whose aim was the liberation of Ireland by force of arms. In 1858, he was jailed without trial for 6 months. In 1865, he was charged with plotting a Fenian rising and sentenced to penal servitude for life. He served his time in Pentonville, Portland and Chatham prisons in England. His prison conditions were horrendous. Infamously, he was manacled with his hands behind his back and had to eat his food like a dog from a dish on the cell floor. In 1869, in a by-election, he was elected, listen to this, by 103 votes for the constituency of Tipperary. But the election was declared invalid because Rossa was a prisoner. In 1870, he was exiled to America with other Fenians, and there he established the United Irishman newspaper and organised a bombing campaign in England known as the Dynamite Campaign. He also organised a fund to support the fight against British rule. So isn't it great that this morning the Irish government celebrated this old Fenian and his activities. Jeremiah was also married 3 times, and he had 18 children, so he was in many ways a very active Irish Republican. At the time of his death, aged 83, a new generation of revolutionary Republicans were organising and preparing for a rising, and they were determined to have Rossa brought home and buried in Ireland. His funeral mobilised and galvanised all sides of progressive opinion here. The funeral committee included 11 of the leaders of the rising who were executed 10 months later, and they stood where we are standing today. And this afternoon we have with us people whose parents or grandparents or other parents stood here exactly 100 years ago. We also have members of O'Donnovan Rossa's family. So Curraghy Fáilte Speisialta den na Daoine seo. These bold Fenian men and bold Fenian women who gathered here believed in Irish freedom. They were in the IRB, the Irish Volunteers, the Citizen Army, Cumann na Mán, na Fianna, Cumann Luachlas Gael, Conradh na Gael, and many other organisations, as well as tens of thousands of citizens. There were trade unionists, feminists, writers, artists, labourers, farm workers, the working poor, intellectuals, poets. And their common cause was the unity and independence of Ireland. And at that time our country had been dragged by England into an imperialist war. Even the most limited form of autonomy had been denied. Partition was being plotted and planned by the ruling classes. But those who gathered at O'Donnovan Rossa's graveside resolved not to accept this, to protest, to resist, and ultimately to take on the might of the British. They took on an entire empire. And the funeral of O'Donnovan Rossa was a call to arms and a prelude to the Easter Rising of 1916. Today, almost a century later, we have many gathered here, like O'Donnovan Rossa, who spent years as political prisoners, who were on the run or were forced into exile. Falcha mór rov a lig fásta. We remember also all of those who suffered and died in the most recent conflict, including our patriot dead, some of whom are laid to rest in this cemetery. We have with us also many young people who thankfully have not known directly the terrible reality of armed conflict. So let us be clear that the peace process and the political progress we have achieved was made possible because of the sacrifices of countless Republicans over the generations. Mar Turl and process Shahana, Tabalak Shahanta, August Déanlachach Hig Ura Inta On, August Ha Shay Mar Dulgas Oring, Dolarai Lahelia or in Balak Shin. It is hugely positive and progressive that we today can pursue the complete unity and freedom of the Irish people by peaceful means. And we are pursuing that cause. And today is a reminder, as the events of the centenary of the Easter Rising in the coming months will be reminders, that the business of Padraig MacPierce and James Connolly and Countess Margovich and Bobby Sands and Maura Drum and Maria Farrell is on finished business. Some people in high places do not like to be reminded of that unfinished business. Ach, Maradurt and Piershig, the fools, the fools, the fools. The way citizens are being treated today demands another rising, a popular reconquest of Ireland by the people of Ireland. Our country is still partitioned, and Ireland divided never can be free. We do not yet have a national republic, but republicanism is growing as never before. The proclamation has yet to be implemented. Equality has yet to be achieved, but we're living in a great time of mighty hope, wonderful potential change, and great positivity for the future. And never was there a greater need for a genuine, rights-based society, for republicanism, and for a real democratic revolution. Agus ní lera sir, agus Gaelach agin, a wakal and Piershig ag an uig shaw. Ach, I kencha go may, ken fa, because we are determined to move forward. And we are as determined to achieve complete freedom as the men and women who gathered here 100 years ago today. Bobby Sands put it well. There's an inner thing in everyone. Do you know this thing, my friend? It has withstood the blows of 1,000,000 years and will do so to the end. It lies in the hearts of heroes dead. It screams in tyrants' eyes. It has reached the peaks of mountains high, it comes searing across the skies. It lights the dark of this prison cell. It thunders forth its might. It is the undauntable thought, my friend, that thought that says, I'm right. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Public McPherson, James Connolly, and all the other men and women. And thank you, Jeremiah O'Donnovan Rossa. Thank you for being right. Gura Mago.